Hey guys, just wanted to say thanks to Caleb Wright for being down to do this video, and also everything in this is basically just my personal opinion from my experience, so just take it with a grain of salt and hope you enjoy. Alrighty, so today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. I'm going to be watching and commenting on Bubby FPV's drone racing. So let's get started. We'll look over his build right now. The switchback is good, Vanover motors, T-motor stack, Foxeer Predator V5, Axii 2, Foxeer VTX, he's rocking Ghost, HUR36s, that's all good. Batteries, he may want to get something a little bit better in the future, maybe like Dogcom or Tattoo, but for now it seems like those are working fine for him. So let's move over to his rates. He's running 500 on roll, a little bit lower on yaw than I was expecting. It also looks like he has a relatively linear curve on his rates, so pretty high RC rate, low super rate, and no expo. We'll talk a little bit more about rates while we're watching the DVR, but in general I've found that maybe raising super rate or expo, or adding more expo, might do him a little bit better, but I'm sure he's tried out some stuff and that's up to you, so just personal preference. I like a little bit more exponential curve. Alright, so first clip we have here, kind of watch it through. This is at my local field. We were just doing some practicing, and yeah, he's looking pretty good. Let's go back to the beginning and I will start to break down some of his elements and maybe give him some tips to improve. So start off that split S. Alright, he's got the corkscrew, not too bad. That split S was a little bit wide, but that's fine. Here is also where he takes this a little bit wide. I'm going to go frame by frame. So when he's getting to it, he's carrying a lot of speed into this, and it doesn't seem like he can quite yank it back as soon as he should. So he ends up kind of blowing it out. Watching that at full speed. Wasn't too bad, but I'd recommend slowing down a little bit, maybe taking a slightly wider line through here, and yeah, if you just pitch back a tiny bit when you're slowing down, just kind of air brake, then doing this kind of really harsh element will stop you from blowing out like that. Yeah, so okay, on that one he kind of pitched back. I don't know if you saw. Play it back at 0.5 speed. Right here, he's kind of pitching back, making sure that he's not carrying too much speed into it, and that was much better. Alright, let's move on to this next element, to the split S 180. So when you see he's coming from the last element, he starts off low, and then he shoots up, and then he tries to catch himself. Does the 180. What I would recommend is, for split S's in general, I found that it's easiest, it makes them a lot easier, when you try to keep a consistent altitude above the gate for as long as possible before you enter into that split S. So for this specific split S, you might want to be 3 feet above it. So you're going to want to try to get to that altitude as soon as possible. So coming out of this gate, you might want to go a little bit high so you're not dipping down here, and then you'll have to shoot up. It makes it a lot easier if you're just have a consistent altitude, and then all you have to focus on is your roll and where you drop in. And for just in general, the longer you're going to that split S, the higher you're going to want to be. It just makes it easier. But Yeah, not too bad. The 180 over here, he does a little pause to get to that. Ideally, you want to make it one smooth enter and exit. This split S, or this, sorry, corkscrew, the 180 corkscrew, there's not much I want to say about this. It was pretty hard because that bar is really scary. It's big and metal. But yeah, that's basically all I'll have to say about this clip. His style in general looks really good. There's lots of room for improvement, so yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how he takes that. Right. Moving on to this one. Not great video, but I was there and I know there was just not great video that day. I think this flying in general is better than the last clip too. So we'll do one more lap and then I'll start saying some stuff. Alright, cool. So, first thing, launch. Okay. Right here, this is where it starts. So he's going into this ladder up. And what he tends to do is from the start gate, before he even goes through the start gate, he's already pointing at that next gate. In general, that's pretty good, right? You want to be prepared to go through that next gate, a little pre-turning. But what I would recommend for this type of element going into this sideways gate and then a ladder up, that you actually take it a little bit wider line, and it makes it a lot easier. So I'll show you on VelociDrone here. The start for the track that he was racing is pretty similar to this track. So what he tries to do is cut it and then pull through a ladder up. What happens right there is that you lose a lot of your vision looking through the gate, and you're basically making a smaller gap for yourself to go through, and it's harder. You'll just end up blowing it out, and you won't be as confident going into it. So what I would recommend is kind of taking a wider line and making it more like a hockey shape, or like a hockey stick, right? You're going sideways and then turning a little bit later instead of going straight for the gate. So instead of going straight for the gate, try to take a wider line, and then it'll be easier to do that. So that's one thing that I noticed. I think every single lap he was kind of doing that. This ladder down, corkscrew, that looks all good. Yeah, so maybe if he just shot straight forward, didn't start turning until about now, he should be out here, and then he would cut into that. Yeah, this part of the track looks all good. I think the only thing is at the end here he could tighten this up. It's about all there is, besides just, you know, really pushing to get the 0.1 second off. But yeah, in general his flying style looks really smooth. That was almost better. You could see he tried to tighten it up, but didn't quite work. Let's go back. Yeah, so he kept it tight around the flag, almost all the way there. He was good here, good here. Just need to use a little bit more roll to, yeah, to just enter into that split S a little bit tighter. And that's another thing I wanted to talk about. So his rates, you can kind of see, it's easier if you have more expo, and maybe if you were a little bit higher too, but to be able to snap into that last split S just makes it easier. So if he had a higher rate right there, a little bit more expo, when he got to the end of the stick, there would be a little bit more rate to just push him into that split S a little bit tighter. So instead of coming around the outside, he would be right on the inside. Yeah, that's about it. And he looks pretty good in general. I think he's gonna get a lot faster once he starts practicing more, just putting in the time. This is the first video that I'm kind of doing like this. I've done this personally for other people, just kind of giving them a DVR review, giving them some tips. But let me know if you want to see more of this type of stuff, and you can always message me on Instagram if you want to talk about doing this for yourself, just kind of personally. And I hope to see you in the next video.